What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blerdkast Live. And tonight, we got something very special for you. But before we begin, I would love to introduce my co-host with the most. Let's have a moment of joy. Welcome back to the show, Miss Joy Stevens. How are you doing this Monday evening?
I am doing well. I am excited to be here. I'm actually happy to have the chance to be on the show tonight because I think it's going to be a good one. It has a lot of things that I am particularly interested in. And so thanks for letting me host tonight. And yes.
No problem. Because of the guests we have on, and because of your background and her background, I think that this would be a tremendous opportunity for y'all to dab in it. But we're going to get to that all in a second. But before we continue, if you haven't, please go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel as well as Moana Nui, and go ahead and check out some of those other interviews and podcasts and episodes that we have, because we have so much in store on both of these channels. But before we continue, let's go ahead and introduce our guest of the evening. Guy in the chair, go ahead and bring her out. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Miss Trinidad Black. How are you doing this evening?
No, I'm saying.
Yeah.
I am amazing, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having. Let me look at the camera. Thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. I am excited to have you on, and just a little transparency for those who don't know. We were supposed to do an interview at MomoCon, but unfortunately, we had to reschedule, and I think it worked out better because instead of like a little 15-minute interview, I got you for a full 90 minutes. So before we begin, as we begin, let me stop saying that. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what it is you do?
Thank you for the intro. Hi, everybody. My name is Trinidad Hermida Black. I am the founder of Blackfest, which is a festival that happens at GDC every year that started a couple of years ago, just to create a space where folks can be empowered, learn, grow, find community, network. And I'm also the chair of the board for Black in Gaming, which is a nonprofit organization that focuses on similar things to Blackfest, which is empowering folks with the tools in this gaming ecosystem to thrive and succeed. And that's a little bit about me.
Wonderful.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. So we want to know all about you. So we got 90 minutes to hear everything from, our parents met in Chicago, like whatever it might be, all the way up to now. But I want to start with, matter of fact, what you just mentioned, Blacks in Gaming. And if you wouldn't mind, give us a rundown of how that came to be. Because I know you're going up on the 10-year anniversary of it now, right?
Yes, which is really exciting. So Black in Gaming started, 10-year anniversary of our award show. So
it's longer than that. Yeah.
So Black in Gaming has been around for 20 plus years. I think it's like 21 or 22 now. Okay. And it started at GDC, where I don't know if anybody can relate, but when you go to some of these conferences, it's like you see someone that looks like you and you're like, is that you? Are you here? Like, what are we doing? Like, how did you get here? How can I chill with you? How can I get to know you? And when 20 years ago, when you saw someone that looked like you in the industry, you like, even today, like if I'm going to a conference or just perusing at a studio and I see someone, I'm like, hey, I don't know you. What's your name? I'm going to put it out there. So back in the day, I'm going to name some names. Kevin. Okay. What's his last name?
That's always a struggle, right? It's, Corey.
Right. Corey. No. Well, we all know Sarah Bond, but like 20 years ago, Sarah Bond was around. Kevin, Carl, Bernardo, Dennis Matthews, and they all met at GDC. And so it just started to be like a meetup. Microsoft supported in the beginning to get us all together. And over time, we saw the need to become a 501c3 so that we could receive donations and build an ecosystem where we can build people up and hopefully keep them in this space long term. And I think that's the thing is retention. Well, we're not companies, we're not the company, right? So we can't force someone to stay in an ecosystem that is not necessarily keeping them in there.
Right.
But as far as just focusing on making sure that there's a place for folks to get information that they may not have gotten historically or generationally. This is something where, for me, I'm a first gen in the game industry. So I don't have an auntie or an uncle or a father who did this before I did. And so for me, being a part of Black in Gaming was exactly what I needed, because I wanted the history, I wanted the legacy, I wanted mentorship, and I wanted to be able to understand how to navigate this space. So Black in Gaming is currently, hopefully, still doing that. I should do a poll. But that's our desire.
Okay. It's interesting. I love what you said about not having a parent or an auntie or, an ancestor, if you will, that was in this industry before. And that is kind of by design, because if you think about, like, I always skip on his name, but, the guy that was one of the first inventors of cartridge for video games and Pong, etc. It's a Black guy. And you think about, like, Super Soaker isn't a game, but still, it's in the genre. It's a Black guy. You think about, matter of fact, I have my own story. I was 10 years old or so, and they were doing like basic and C+ coding for like little kids. And I was the only Black person Jerry Lawson, thank you. I could not remember his name for anything, but I was the only little Black girl. I was the only girl, and I was the only Black person in this class of coders, right? Learning computer coding when we were, so if I was 10, this had to be like 1984, 1985. It was so interesting and so avant-garde. They did a piece on us in the Houston Chronicle, and they cut me out of the picture and cut my name off the thing when they posted it. So the article went out. Now, mind you, I'm in the picture, but they cut me out to the point where they cut a little bit of the guy, the boy next to me. They cut off his arm just to make sure I wasn't in the picture. And then my name that wasn't in it, they had interviewed me. That whole piece was gone. And so when we talk about erasure, that is what it is in the moment. Erasure of any little Black girl's contribution to coding. And so there could have been ancestors in this industry if they weren't systematically pushed out and removed. And then you think about how Black people are treated just in the environment of any online game. Why would I want to get a job doing something where they're going to make fun of me, harass me, call me names all the time? So when you mention like retention, I get what you're saying. So Mark hasn't told you, but I'm a corporate culture consultant. So I do diversity and inclusion for corporations. And I've worked with some folks in the gaming industry, some small companies, some subsidiaries of Google, et cetera, and seeing how they think they want to be diverse and they strive for it until it gets hard. And then they go back to where they were. And it's not just the gaming industry. I'm dealing with the same thing with Fortune 200 companies where they had to put on a good show until about 2023, 24. And then it's hard and they were tired. And somebody said they might lose a percentage point of profit. And so they stopped, but I want to get back to you.
I was like, you're going to take me on a tangent because I absolutely, I mean, I'll follow the questions because we're going to get back here. We're going to get back here at one point. But yeah, definitely, I had to pivot my whole career, but yeah.
I kind of want to get into that. Let's do it. Talk to me. Yes. You had to pivot your career.
Well, so I worked for, I was in, how do I want to say it? I'm not trying to be politically correct, promise you. I'm just trying to think of like, what are the words that people say now? Like because it went from diversity and inclusion to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging to all of those things.
It's just belonging and acceptance sometimes gets added in there. So
that's wild. So, anyways, long story short, I have worked in corporate America in the DEIB space for over 10 years, probably closer to like 15, 16. Um, and when I started back in the day, I was at EMC Squared, which got the biggest like tech acquisition was with when EMC got acquired by Dell. And I was there and working in DEI and doing all the things. And I wanted to leave DEI because every time we started to get some momentum as a manager in this space and working with leaders, they were like, they would always refer to the product managers or always refer to folks outside of this space. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna be a product manager then. And so I did everything in my power to become a product manager. And I did that for a while for Dell, and I hated it. And so at that moment, I had a choice to make. I was like, you know what? When was the last time I was truly happy doing work in this space? And it was when I remembered when I was doing the DEI work. So I made a point to not apply to any jobs outside of that until I got a job doing exactly that. And so I kept my job as a product manager for a couple years, and I was really good at it. Everybody loved it. Made, Dell a lot of money. but I wasn't really happy, and I didn't feel like I was fulfilling my purpose. And so the insert Niantic stage left. And that's actually that was my entry into the game industry, was as their global head of D&I, their first global head of D&I ever. And so that was a phenomenal time. I loved it until I didn't.
It's hard to explain that to people. You say, I loved it until I didn't. And all of a sudden it can almost be like a switch, like, okay, time to go.
Well, I think it was around the time that you're mentioning, right? When the whole world blew up and there was differences in opinions, and honestly, it was really, how do I say it in a nice way? Disheartening. I was really disheartened. I was really just like, when you do something that you love doing and you believe, and I know that there are ways to empower people with experiences and encounters that can change their life to where they're shifting into a more explorative, inclusive environment, like way of living. And society flips on its head and says, oh, you don't have to do that anymore. And people who weren't doing the work or didn't desire to do the work just said, oh, we ain't doing this anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and it was now reduced to the very thing that was, and I don't want to say it in a negative way, but like reduced to the very thing that wasn't even giving power to actually manifest what we wanted to see happen within companies, i.e. ERGs. So like now it's like, oh, everybody has an ERG or everybody has a belonging group. And what I used to teach back in the day, and I'm still doing it now, is how to be a BRG, which is a business resource group. So finding ways, and this, I don't even know if that's a word anymore that people still use, but finding ways. It is? Awesome. So finding ways that folks within these companies can tie what they're doing to the bottom line.
Yes.
And so, and then go ahead.
Just a quick rundown for the folks that are listening. Like BRG, is that, that is not RBG. We're not talking about Supreme Court or BRG, whatever. Now. Anyway, a BRG is a business resource group. You kind of have three levels. You've got an affinity group, then you've got an employee resource group, then you've got a business resource group. An affinity group is, hey, we all like knitting. Let's form a knitting group. Let's do a running group. Let's hang out and, everybody that likes to drink mocktails, we have a mocktail group. Anyone can do that. An ERG is an employee resource group. We recognize or identified a group of employees, usually under protected status, meaning, you're like your top five, like your people of color, your women, your LGBTQ, your veterans, and disabilities. Usually those five, and then sometimes those would be expanded into bigger groups. But there's something they need that is particular to their demographic, that they want to help each other. And so an employer resource group is about, we need to help each other, mentorship, access to resources, etc. Now, a business resource group, usually that ERG gets strong enough to they're like, you know what, let's recommend this to the board. Let's talk about something that helps the entire. A lot of mentorship programs, improving of hiring practices, improvement in retention and regret and reducing attrition, et cetera. All of that comes from a lot of work that business resource groups do, because you can put money to it. Now, it takes investment from the company to get to the BRG level. You can't just tell a group of people who already have a day job to go and do something for the company. Right. So people will ask for a BRG and give them affinity group money. They're like, oh, we need you to overhaul our entire mentoring and onboarding system. Here's $500. I can't get food catered for $500. Right.
So this is the thing, the beautiful thing and this is why, like, I loved my job. Like, I really do believe that God aligned me there for a time, for a purpose, and I had a budget. I had the ability to influence leaders. I had the ability to create experiences and empower folks with encounters that would. I wrote a book. It's still being edited and all that kind of stuff, but it's called Head, Heart, Hand, and it talks about the journey to change. And it was inspired by Who Moved My Cheese, because they had us read it when we got acquired by Dell. Yeah. But a lot of times, people aren't necessarily excited about change. We like our systems, we like our routine and different things of that nature. And so when I had the opportunity to go there, they were ready, they were open. But when there's something that is someone's baby in an environment where a lot of these folks were founders, and this was like Pokemon Go was a small group of folks that spun off out of Google, and then went into create this mobile game that ended up blowing up, and nobody knew that it was going to blow up. And so it was like, oh, don't mess up the baby. This is like the cash cow baby. Let's just continue to do what we do and don't ruffle feathers. But once they settled in and they got the people started asking, we want something. We want to be able to see a shift. And it was a private company until I left. Like, it barely sold last year to Scopely, because we were about to hit our 8-year mark. And if you don't sell your company, you're gonna have to rebuy your stocks and your shares and all those kind of things. And I know the folks who started the company were like, nah. And so all the things. Anyways, long story short, I was just really grateful that I was able to go in there and be me, utilize the gifts that I have. It's one of those things where, because I was the first, I was able to create from the ground up. And I thank God for the ability to work with my HR VP at the time, David Hannerhan, white guy. But like, this white guy didn't try to put his thumb on me. Like, he empowered me, and he was like, let's work together. I know the senior leadership team. I know how they move. Let's partner. And because of that, like, I was able to get coached because he had the historical knowledge. I was able to meet people, bring them to, I brought senior executives to NSBE because one of them had the audacity to tell me that there were no Black engineers. So I was like, oh, okay, I got you. Let's go on a field trip.
Hello, Georgia Tech, Spelman, Georgia Tech, dual degree grad, chemistry and chemical engineering. We out here.
But
I made that point to a company I was working with one time. They said they couldn't find any good black people. I said, you know what? Give me 45 minutes and I can find you a black real estate agent, designer, manufacturer, construction, lawn care, dentist, massage therapist, general practitioner. I can find all of those black people within 45 minutes because I am black. And I have a black network. And the best place to find black employees is from talking to other black employees. However, if your company sucks, we're not going to recommend our people to you. And
no,
then you
not
can't
at all.
find anybody.
And to that point, like, I didn't, and so this is me. I didn't just want to hire entry level black folks.
That part. Stop telling me you're about to go to a college campus.
I wanted folks who could be producers. I wanted folks who could be a head of engineering. I wanted folks who could be head of marketing, you know, and come in, and because it's a proven fact that if you get leaders that have a background other than, right, like, and we create a balanced team, not unbalanced, you're gonna see it just organically continue to grow like that. And but a lot of times we also need to coach folks who are coming from different industries or who are not aware of how this industry is. And so it's been fun. But I did leave because of a manager. I didn't like the person who came in, and I wasn't about to usurp my authority because I absolutely love the CEO and still do. I think he's amazing. John, love you. But like, he was like, well, you know, can I do something? Can I have you? Because this is how close we were, right? And this is why things were able to happen, was because I had a relationship with the CEO. I dot lined into him. So I was able to have one-on-ones with him. I was able to talk to him about vision. I was able to think outside the box and think of what's not happening right now. How do we get more folks that have, you know, never been in tech before? And so that's how we were able to create a apprenticeship program in engineering and in art. And that was how, you know, when George Floyd was murdered and everything felt like it was falling apart, and I was in my square of an apartment in Oakland, California, while there's riots going on. That's why I was able to DM him and our COO and say, you're talking about let's go outside for walks because of COVID, and I can't go outside because someone just threw a chair or whatever they threw at the windows of the apartment that I live in. Like, I was like, this is just imbalance. Like, what's going on? And because of that, sorry, I'll you know.
No, go ahead.
Because of that, we were able to create the Black Creator Fund. You know, the Black. We were able to donate over $5 million to nonprofits across the U.S. Like, there's just, these are baby steps, right? But I had to feel safe enough and comfortable enough to put my job on the line, right? Like, you know, like, I've had colleagues that at the same time did exactly what I did, which was just send a note and say, hey, we got to do something. This is not okay. And they lost their jobs. So I'll pause there, but that was one of the best journeys. But prior to that, I had over 10 years of DEI experience in tech. And we were doing, I wanted to make this note earlier, we were doing things that people thought were innovative 10 to 15 years before that.
Yeah.
Just repeating the cycle. So
we could do a whole nother show on co-opted IP and labor and ideas and things. And it goes beyond even the tech world. I mean, you could take it all the way back to the literature, men stealing their wives' words and pass it off as a bestseller. Science, you know, people stealing the DNA code and saying they discovered it. Like, yeah. We won't point any fingers. I'm just going to say there's certain men who, you know, have a tendency to want to take everything. Now, I'm going to get out of my bitter phase. I want to get back into some fun stuff. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned Niantic, you mentioned Pokemon Go and that experience. But so You said before we got started, you said I like to do makeup and talk about God. And I know that you are an ordained minister. Am I correct?
I am.
So I would like to find out what it's like to be in the brain of Afro Latina minister, gamer, makeup, enthusiast, DEI specialist. What's going on in there? Like, specifically, how do you or do you infuse some of your other work, discussion, etc., with your love of God? And what does that look like? It's like a 30-minute question.
Oh, 30 minutes. Ugh, great. No, I don't even think it's that. Like, I was gonna give you a one-liner, but I can expand. But it's ingrained within who I am. It's a part of my being. It's everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's my mindset. It's how I everything that I do, the makeup, the gaming, the music, the corporate America, which I'm no longer in anymore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's a lie. Never mind. I do contracting and stuff like I do consulting. So, but like all of that, I have to not have to, but it's funneled through an encounter that I had with Jesus Christ that transformed my life. So I don't love the same. I don't talk the same. I don't walk the same. I can't look at people the same because I've been loved in a way that I didn't even know was possible. And so prior to that, I didn't know what love was. I thought I did. I tried, in all these different ways, and so it's just transformed me. I mean, I've been a lover of Jesus Christ for practically my whole life, but I've lived life. When I say I've lived life, I gave my life to the Lord at a young age, but like I was addicted to drugs.
You side
No,
quest.
I was addicted to drugs when I was in teen, and then gave my life, rededicated my life to the Lord. I was a missionary overseas with Youth Mission, with a nonprofit organization. I was a missionary overseas for a couple years. I was in Italy. I was in London. And then I went to Bible college. And then I went to seminary. I got my master's, and then got married, bought the house, did all the things, did ministry, got divorced, then wilded out, like went into the streets. I was
another side quest.
I was in these streets. And then, like it's interesting because even that part of my life, like I realized hurt was the door that allowed me to just bring and open a lot of things back into my life. And then when, of course, like Jesus always does, and the Lord always does, is like Holy Spirit just kept on pulling me like I'm over here, I love you, right? None of this that you've done has mattered to me. And so I even got involved in witchcraft. Like there's just so much that the hurt opened doors that I didn't even know were possible. But through love, through forgiveness, through his presence, I came back. And so the thing is, I'm doing all of this corporate stuff. I'm doing all of these things. So when I say like, Niantic saw two different parts of me because I was in the middle of all of this. Like, so, but
they had like a before and after.
They had a before and after. They're probably like, oh Lord. And then even now, like, one of my friends hit me up on TikTok because she saw my TikToks, and she was like, I remember the day I came to your apartment with anointing oil because you had so much witchcraft stuff in your apartment. And I was just like, and she's like, and I'm like, she's like praying and like putting anointing on. I was like, you're hilarious. She's like, but look who you are now. And I'm like, look at God, right? So when I say like my life has been transformed and renewed, it's a daily walk. It's not something that happens. It's not like I'm like, oh, look at me, I'm perfect. No, I die daily. I have things that I need to allow the Holy Spirit to remind me of. I could be petty LaBelle sometimes. There's a lot of things that I just have to release. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, did I answer your question? Like,
I have ADHD. I don't know what the question was.
okay. I was like, I'm still trying to remember.
It was
But
about you did. It was about how your faith weaves in and out of all the other stuff you do. So yes, you did answer the question. I have a follow-up question for you though.
okay, go ahead.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to, because this is off script. My question: what has been your biggest test when it comes to your faith?
Loss.
Okay.
I would say loss and biggest test. I mean, people are my biggest test, like, because I have to deal with them every single day.
I had somebody trouble my spirit before I got on here.
But
how you gonna call me and then tell me you ain't got time to talk? I wanted to fight them so bad.
That's hilarious. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I would say it's a combination of loss, of people, of really the biggest test is myself. I'm a recovering control freak and a recovering people pleaser, and so and God revealed that to me over time. And when you're a recovering control freak and people pleaser, it affects your work. It affects your relationships. It affects everything that you do. And so even in my journey with Black and gaming, you know, being a people pleaser will have you exhausted and not taking care of yourself because you're running around trying to make sure everybody's okay. And so that applies to work. It applies to home life. It applies to community. It applies to familial relationships.
Yeah,
so I realized I was more scared of people than I was of God.
Really
and I had to sit there for a while.
You know, I feel bad because I've been monopolizing the conversation, and Mark's
like, what's going on here?
No, I'm enjoying the conversation. I knew once y'all start talking about DEI, equity, and inclusion, it was gonna kind of be a minute before I had a word in. But no, you said a lot of things and answers a lot of the questions that I already had prepared so far. But I do have some follow-up questions I want to ask based off of what you told us so far. Like you said, you worked for Niantic, especially during the boom of the Pokemon Go era. I'm just curious, like you said, you were the first to lead their DEI initiative programs. What would you say was your crowning achievement while working at Niantic that you are personally proud of?
I would say there's two things that I'm really, really just grateful that I was able to be a part of and spearhead. One of them was the apprenticeship program that we had. The reason why I love that so much was because the Niantic was in the Ferry building. A lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people knew that, but we had an office in the Ferry building in San Francisco. And downstairs was a Blue Bottle coffee place. And I used to go there all the time. And when that apprenticeship program opened up, anybody could apply. And someone from downstairs applied and they got in. And they succeeded to the point of getting an offer. So the apprenticeship program was a 12-week program, but prior to the 12 weeks of coming on, you had a boot camp. So they taught you, if it was the art side, everybody had coding and all that other kind of stuff. So we paid for the boot camp. So even if you didn't get the offer at the end, you left with an understanding that and of a skill set that you can go somewhere else. And people went other places and got jobs other places. But out of, I think it was like 25, we had at least 12 folks get full-time offers. And just to know that these folks had, some of them was a career change, some were working in a service role like Blue Bottle Coffee. Some didn't have any experience in any of this space, but just had a desire. And that to me is like the epitome of access of opportunity, right? Because there was no barrier to entry outside of like your age, right? Like there was no barrier that like, and what I mean by age, oh, thanks, Robert. What I mean by age, I'm talking about like 18 plus, right? Like, so
Right.
I'm talking about there were some folks in there that were in their 50s, like, so 18 all the way plus.
Yeah.
And for me, I love that because we also have mothers who, you know, leave the industry or leave work because they have children and they feel awkward coming back. And, you know, they could have been an executive before they left.
Yeah.
And so that was number one. And I mean, they're not number one. They're both like equal. Like the next example, they're like equal in my book. And I hinted to it when we were talking about the murder of George Floyd. I hit up my CEO and COO on a Friday afternoon, right after our Black ERG was called Wakanda, and it's Wakanda Forever. And I got off that ERG crying, and like honestly, we were all crying. It was, and I mean, even thinking about it right now will make me emotional. It was just so heavy. And it was just all of the emotions, and then trying to be present at work, trying to still function when the backbone of our society was cracking. I mean, I'm not saying it hasn't happened before. There's plenty of times where we've seen crazy stuff happen in the US and different things of that nature, but it was in our generation. It was at our time, and it was happening right before our eyes.
Right.
And so I told some people I'm going to make, you know, I'm gonna hit up these folks, you know, we're gonna have some conversations. And so I wrote a note. I didn't know what the response was gonna be, but I also in that moment knew that I was crossing a line that I could either still have my job tomorrow or not.
But it was worth it to you and to your soul to cross that line.
It's who I am. Like, I think the reason why I've been successful and been able to do a lot of the things that I've been able to do in life is because I was willing to fail. And what I mean by that is I realized my mother and my father didn't have that opportunity to fail because they had to take care of me. They were first gen folks, like, and
so they had to do low risk, you know, very stable, got to feed the kids.
I'm about to give you an example. My father worked at IBM and Cisco in Silicon Valley, and here comes Google, here comes Facebook. He didn't cross the street. He didn't cross the street because those things were risky, like you said. And so I'm like, dang, like my father could have been a multimillionaire if he leaned in and said, okay, I'm going to go to Google, even though I don't know, you know? And
but he had kids to take care of. He had a wife, family to feed. You can't take a risk and lose everything, and then your whole family's out in the street. Yes, a big risk to take with family. And if you think about it, a lot of people that joined Google when they first started were single.
We're single and young and young. And so that part, right? So here I am. I'm like, because of them, I can fail.
They gave you that safety net, you know?
And it wasn't a safe. I'm 44, y'all. So this was probably, what is it, 2026? And this was 6 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like I wanted to go back to my parents' house, but
I didn't necessarily mean like, you know,
I would have been like Crip walking out of there. I would have been like, Jesus, let's go. you know, and so I'm just like, let's go. And then at the end of the day, it's like, I also knew my value to the company. And I also know California state law. So there's just a couple things that, you know, we can go there if I got time today. But I also was just willing to take that risk. And so after I took that risk, I was hit up by some employees that were just like, after the call, they had, you know, they had thought about some things, and we started to, over the weekend, type up a letter that that I had told the CEO and COO that I was going to present a letter, because I don't believe in just complaining about a problem. I believe in suggesting and proposing solutions. And so, and you know, some of them are band-aids on a gaping wound, and this is where politics and all the other kind of stuff comes along, and you have to navigate it wisely, with wisdom. And you know, the letter was audacious and bold. And I didn't care. I was like, if we gonna do this, we got one shot. And I'd rather shoot for the moon,
right?
What do they say? And land amongst the stars. Like, my idea was like, hey, I can ask for, and you know what's funny is I realized, and this is what's cray. I thought I was asking for a lot by asking for, I think in total I was asking for $500,000.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
No, it's not. They leveled me up. They said, we're going to give half of Pokemon Go Fest's proceeds. $5 million.
Wow.
And so insert Black Developer Initiative, insert a program that we created for nonprofits that were getting people out and moving in urban cities. So we gave over $2.5 million to nonprofits. We gave, they actually raised it. The nonprofits were $5 million, and Black Developer Initiative was around $4 million. And yeah, when I say like, I was like, I learned so much from that encounter, where I was like, okay, Trent, you didn't ask for enough. But for me, that was bold because, and mind you, I had a pretty hefty budget. So part of me was like negotiating, well, I could just take this out of my budget. You know what I mean? Like that was going to be my proposal if they tried to
already
come
looking
back
for the fallback. Yeah.
And so, but yeah, they met us with some serious.
We'll give you 10 times that. Yeah.
Right. And that was, I mean, it felt good, y'all. It felt good to have that, because my nephew worked for a crypto company, which if anybody trades, you know what company I'm talking about. Like, and he ended up leaving Winning, right? Because he had a great lawyer and a great auntie that coached him and said, who said, you ain't leaving there without all of your equity and a full year salary and some benefits. You know what I mean? Like, so, but it didn't turn out like how ours turned out, right? And so I'm really proud of that. And I thank God for supernatural wisdom and knowing how to navigate that. Obviously, you create this fund, and that you have to get certain people together to disperse the funds, to build this initiative, to make sure that these programs are beneficial, you know, and folks benefited from it. But the Black Developer Initiative, I think it could have been a lot more. And I'm not saying that it died because I left. I just think that there was a shift in, they dispersed all the money, so went to folks. But and at the end of the day, I just think that priorities shifted for a lot of people in 2020, 2023. And And I wasn't really having it. And then so I was like, you know what? Like I told you, I left because of a bad boss.
Yeah.
And this is not the boss that I had previously praised, this is a
Mhm.
different one.
You can really
And
underestimate that boss thing. Like, all it takes is one person to irritate you enough to where the pain of staying the same is bigger than the pain of change. And then you go.
and you know what? Like I said this, and this is part for me, my integrity. I was offered to just go to a different boss.
Mm-hmm.
I
For
was
me, whenever somebody's like, well, why don't you just switch teams or whatever, go to a different boss? So you're not addressing the issue I have. You're just shuffling me off in another corner, which is the reverse of them moving a cop to a different department or moving a priest to a different church. You're not solving the problem. You're just
In
getting the
fact, you
person
being punished in a sense.
way. Say what?
And I would say you being punished even because I had a situation like that at my job where I'm not going to get into details, but it was literally just another situation of corporate America, a black woman in a higher position and a white man in the higher position, and they went with, we're not going to believe the woman, we're going to just ignore the situation or uh, move her to another shift or another team or something when the issue wasn't her.
Yeah.
And I hate that so much. I see that all the time in corporate America.
The issue with what I experienced was I would have ended up in the same room as her at the same table.
And
And
that
to
can be
me,
too.
as the global head of DEI, what is that going to say to every leader that I engage with? I had to think about the future of DEI in that company, and I was willing to sacrifice because of that. Like because I would have lost, and I'm, nobody would have said it to me to my face, but like they probably would have been like, oh, well, she could just go to the CEO, and if something's wrong, you know what I mean? Like, and I didn't. That's not my MO. That's not how I roll. That's not how I operate. So, yes, I had a close relationship with him because he believed in everything that we were doing, but I wasn't going to. What's the word that I want to use? Abuse that power.
Yeah.
It's so weird that when we get to the table and we're in those positions, we have to monitor or censure ourselves in a sense of abusing power, while when other people get in those positions, that's almost essentially what they do. They'll use it as their go-to. You see it all the time. But since we are on this particular subject, and I normally don't get so political on my show, but given the political climate that we're in, I do have to ask this. Since 2024, the 2024 election, how the new administration has basically canceled or demanded the death of DEI. Do you think we as a society are heading in the right direction when it comes to eliminating these programs and going off of what they call a merit-based system, which is really them just putting in people who are not qualified to do these positions?
Giving your sister your job.
Yes, we can talk about that. That's a whole nother show. I know. It was not in the questions, but I do have to just kind of ask that.
What's interesting is the first thing that came to my mind was, what is birth in adversity? And my mind just went there because I look at the history of our people in America and the resilience and all the things. And I'm not, and again, like there's just, I'm not saying that it's okay by no means. I'm just like, I guess my thought is more forward thinking about like what is going to be birthed out of this. and what opportunity is in this very moment. Because when you look at the history of DEI, there was affirmative action. There's a lot of people who loved affirmative action. Fun fact, like I think my mother or one of them was like a recipient of it, and it helped them get to college and all those other kind of
Clarence
things.
Thomas.
Then, right? Then we have the death of that.
Yeah.
So it's like
people that they say pull the ladder up behind them, if you will.
I'm like, what is next? Because honestly, and I'm not trying to be funny, but like he ain't gonna be the president forever. And so, and then usually if there's a really cray president, there's usually everybody shifts into it. Like it's like this like pendulum swing of things. And so I think for me in this season, I'm just like, how can we empower people within our communities to not become, what's the word that I want to use, crabs in a barrel, where we're fighting against each other instead of coming together united and finding ways to navigate this system. And what I mean by that is that like the last time he was president, you know, there was a lot that went down at that time, not as to the same extent, but I was working at EMC at the time, and we funding ended, you know, all these different, but it was a corporate climate. So we, you know, obviously had funding, but like because of the relationships and the leaders there that were willing to kind of stick their necks out, we were able to sustain a lot within the work. And so like it's i.e. kind of like when you think about Costco, when they said, we're not doing what you're gonna do. We don't care what you're saying. We're gonna do us. And because they had the support at that leadership level, nothing shifted. They stood their ground 10 toes down, and they continued moving forward with that. I want to see more of that. And go ahead. I see that you were gonna say something.
Mark?
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Okay.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Oh, I didn't know. So I just, in this seat, Joy.
I do want to, I want to say something. Since I got a second, I do think about the cyclical nature of it all. Like people don't realize the first civil rights request or act, if you will, was 1800s, not 1965. It took 100-ish years to get the rights that were denied us after the Compromise of 1877. Like if you see what this country has done the way it throws Black people specifically away over and over again, take what they need, use us for whatever purpose, use us for whatever political prop or labor shortage need or whatever. And then when they get what they need, they throw us away. Usually for some temporary political gain, and then they want to come looking for us again. So that's why this last time, 2024 election, you got the 92% that was like, we done. We're not helping you no more. I have a print of that picture of the girl sitting on the building burned with the place burning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought that. Now I love that she, even though it was a auto generated, I love that she took the proceeds from the painting she sold and gave them to charity and to the guy that she got inspiration from. But anyway, because we always be trying to give back. But my point is, I've seen so many people say, where are the Black women? Where are the Black people? How come you not stand up? And then in the next breath, call us a monkey. Hey, we're not doing it this time. And if you look at the history, you've got, again, the Reconstruction era killed overnight by the Compromise of 1877, which if y'all don't know what that is, the president at the time did not get the popular vote, but he had the Electoral College vote. And in order to get the South to go along with his Rutherford B. Hayes, his presidency, they said, well, just take all these troops out the South and let one of our former Confederates be postmaster general, and then we'll consider you president. And he followed up with that. He did it, and they murdered so many Black people. This is the beginning of the Klan and the lynchings and the poll tax and all the other things to disenfranchise. The massacre in South Carolina, on what is now present day Emmanuel Baptist Church in the same area, right? So the murders continue. And any entity that wants to stay in control when they don't have a rational argument resorts to violence, and they've resorted to violence over and over again. And so I wasn't surprised to see the January 6th rebellion, if you will, insurrection. I wasn't surprised to see the uptick in violence against individual Black people. I'm not surprised to see little Karens losing their mind and trying to spit on people and cuss people out, because their premise is crumbling. You can't keep having all of this excellence in all communities of color and try to claim white supremacy. And as white supremacy falls, it goes into death throes. It is thrashing. And so you're seeing, again, all of this. George Floyd and Emmett Till are parallels, right? You can take it even back to George Stinney in, was it 1944, the youngest, 14 years old, electrocuted for something he didn't even do. Exonerated in 2014, 70 years later after his death.
Wow.
For no evidence. But murdering Black people. Oh, Nolan Wells.
Yeah.
You know, all of this, we don't know what happened to him. You know how many times somebody has not known what happened to a little Black person? You know, behind nothing other than maybe jealousy, maybe pettiness, maybe just, I want to see if his blood is the same color. Like, it could be anything. And I say all of this to say, I'm not surprised with where we are. I don't know where we're going. But to your point about being born of adversity, nobody rises from the ashes like a phoenix, that better than Black people. You've been trying to kill us since you stole us. So good luck with that. That has not worked out for you for the last 250 years, actually 400 years. So, you know, suck it. And we're here. We're going to stay here. We're going to be here. And that brings me back around to what we're supposed to be talking about: Blacks in gaming, or people of color in general in gaming. But I want to stick with like Black people. I had this thought when you were talking about the voodoo and the witchcraft, et cetera, and finding your way back to Jesus, back to your, you know, God and religion. And there's a game that came out on Xbox last year. It's on Sony now. It's called South of Midnight. Have you played that game?
I haven't played it yet.
Okay. It deals with, I say, very light, you know, Diet Coke level of spirituality, a lot of it takes place in Louisiana, so, you know, like a lot of hoodoo type stuff. There's a talking catfish, there's an alligator in it, you know, the blue bottles, the haints, the spirits, etc. It doesn't feel, you know, demonic or anything like that, but I am interested, and this again is not one of the questions that's on our list. I am interested in your take on the connection or disconnection between the Abrahamic religions, some of the African traditions, and where they meet and mix in places like Haiti and Ghana and New Orleans, Louisiana, where you have a little bit of everything. You know, folks leave mass and then go look for Papa Legba. You know, what are we doing? So I'm just interested in your take on if some of the African traditions, which aren't necessarily demonic but just different, have any place in the African American zeitgeist. You know what I mean?
I hear you. And I think that there's a lot of right now, I wouldn't say right now, but maybe over the last couple of years, because of what happened in COVID, there's like this resurgence of like exploration when it comes to power. And I gave y'all an example of my experience was that a door of hurt, and that door of hurt was church hurt, to be honest.
Okay.
And the door of hurt took me away from the church, and it took me away because of, I was like, y'all can't handle a divorce. You know what I mean? Like, and what I meant by that was that I was kicked out. I was the worship leader. I was a youth pastor, and I was sat down and all this other kinds of stuff. And I was just like, this is for the birds. Like there's and especially with the experience that I have with folks and having conversations and conflict resolution and finding ways to bring people together. Like people should not, at this the 20th century, we should not be so far away from understanding how to restore people.
Ooh, yes.
And so I started following like Abraham Hicks. I used to like today is gonna be a good day. You know, like I started following Wayne Dyer and folks that talk about thinking positively and the universe and all these things. And I got my Reiki master certification because
Really?
yeah, I went all the way to Reiki master. And but the thing that's crazy about it, and this is something that I don't think people will be so bold to say, is for me, throughout all of that, Jesus never left me. He never forsook me. He loved me through it all. Like my mother was like, "That's witchcraft. That's witchcraft." You know what I mean? In love, but like everything that I was engaging in, she was like, okay, I don't know about that." And I was like, "But I have these angel cards and they have scriptures on them. So this is not witchcraft." And it was just, but when it comes down to, so as a believer in Jesus Christ, I believe he's the way, the truth, the light, right? Period. That's me. I also believe he's the front door. What I was doing was going through the back door, because there's a lot of principles in the spirit realm and in the spirit world. So you can essentially, and the gifts come without repentance. So you can essentially say, okay, I know Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light. I know that the Holy Spirit is my teacher, my guide, gives me all this information that I need to succeed in this life that we have. But I'm going to take the back door of astrology, because God did create the sun, the moon, and the stars, and they do speak to us. But I'm going to use that instead of going through Jesus. Or I'm going to use the back door of, I'll use tarot, but I'm trying to go to the core of it, which is really the desire to control other people.
Yes.
And so, and it says in the Bible that if manipulation is like witchcraft, right? But we're not going to talk about how many witches are in the church today. So we're gonna take that on another level and another
witches and demons.
and it's not. And what I mean by that is manipulation.
Yes.
If I'm to the point where I'm tithing because I want to move the hand of God, or and what I mean by that is like, let me tithe so that my money right. You know what I mean? Like it's the mentality of I'm controlling something instead of surrender. And then you go to the idea of, oh, let me fast so I can move the hand of God. Now, like fasting is not to move the hand. Fasting is to transform your mindset, die to your flesh, like so that you can hear God more clear, not so that you can manipulate God. And so anyways, long story short, Jesus never left me. I what I loved about that was that even in Reiki, they teach you all these symbols and all these different things that you know, to invoke this and do this with your hand and blah, 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 and yak, yak, yak. I'm not going to go deep into it. But there were times where I was like, oh, Jesus, you're here. Great. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't have to do all the work anymore. You know,
right. That's me and you here.
And so I love how God never left me, because I was the person who would go into the club and was probably the biggest person in these streets, and then I would pray for you in the same breath. Like, you know, like I would cuss you out and then pray for you. Like I was in and out, and waving in and out. And so when I say what's going on, the question that you asked about, when you go into environments that are supposed to empower you with the ability to grow, know your identity, and know who you are, and they're not doing that, it's inevitable that you're going to want to seek your identity and find truly who you are elsewhere. And so is it something that I'm like, honestly, I went on that very path and look where I'm at today, because God said, he who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. I didn't get very far, you know what I mean? Like, and so, do I think that there were a lot of doors that I opened that in coming back into a relationship with God where I submitted all of those desires that I had to control, to manipulate. There was a lot of, and we can open a can of worms there, but I had to go through a lot of deliverance for some things, that some doors that I opened. And so
God saved you from yourself.
Huh?
God had to save you from yourself. Like,
yeah,
girl, get out this room.
I saved me from myself. I needed healing from, like, I am remarried now, thank you, Lord. And thank God my husband loves the Lord, and loves the Lord more than he loves me, in a good way, right? Like, because I had so much hurt and pain from being a hoe in these streets that I didn't realize that it would affect my marriage. Yeah, Mark. I was in these streets. And so, like, and what I mean by that is
side quest. Yeah, that's all it was.
Side all of the side quests. And so I thank God that my husband understands that, like, oh, she needs Jesus. Because, like, there are so many moments where I thought I was healed from the past divorce. I thought I was healed from past relationships, and it would pop up in my marriage. And so even with insecurity, with other women, and all these different types of things. And so I just thank God for the baby gloves that he handles me with, and the grace and mercy that comes along with this relationship, because I need it. I need all of it. So I think I answered your question.
Yes, you did. And I was talking about a game. I just started playing South of Midnight like a couple of weeks ago, just around, like, you know, the different little pieces of like hoodoo and stuff that are in there. But moving into the games, and the games that you're playing, what are you playing now when it comes to this industry? And then I got a follow-up question for that.
I like open world games, if I'm going to be honest. So I was drawn, and see, I don't know why, because I told you I haven't played a game in a while, except for on my phone, because I don't know if I told y'all the reason why I wasn't at did they send you a note as to why I wasn't at
MomoCon? Yeah, they said you had an accident, and I left it at that. I didn't want to divulge too further.
Okay. Yeah, I ruptured my Achilles.
Okay.
So I haven't been. I'm now starting to get. I start PT actually tomorrow, which is yay for me. But I've been I was bedridden for like a couple weeks, so I wasn't playing it, unless my husband brought the dominoes to the bed, and he was like, you know, he set it up there so I could play him. I was just playing mobile games. So for me, I love me a good mobile game. I do have the Switch, and I wanted to play Mario Kart a couple times. I also played this game that I got. It's by Japanese studio, but I'm gonna find the name of it and I'll tell y'all later. But it essentially was about the journey of Alzheimer's.
Ooh.
And it was,
that sounds interesting.
It was interesting. It was good, but it was just like, it was also like, you have to kind of figure it out it's one of those games where, like, they don't really give you much, and each stanza or each section, you have to, like, kind of figure it out to get to the next. And I realized that it was like, oh, I forgot this. Oh, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just this whole journey, and it was beautiful, and it was also sad at the same time. I love Sequence. It's a board game. I love Sequence. My husband hates it. I love it. I think it's so fun to just, like, maneuver and navigate, like, okay, this is what I have in my hand, and this is how I'm going to play it to win. I love Phase 10 because it's hella long. It takes like hours to play that game. He hates it. And I know a lot of people don't like it because it's like takes forever. I love Uno No Mercy, and if you haven't played Uno No Mercy, then you're missing out because it's the most competitive and jacked up game at the same time. Because if you get over 25 cards, you're out, and that's you. And they have plus 10 wild cards, which, of course. So I like gaming. For me has always been something where I'm able to come together with community.
Okay.
So during COVID and all those, I played a lot of the online come together. What was it? Among Us,
Among Us, yeah, that was a
those
big one.
kind of games. But in this season, it's me and my.
You switch. Oh, your phone. Yeah, the mobile games. But like I mentioned before, the mobile games, the puzzle solving, it does keep your brain active, keeps your brain fun, functioning, doing stuff, and good hand-eye coordination. Sometimes, it's a lot of good things to be said for mobile games. For me, I'm addicted to this Jewel Slider game. I had to delete Candy Crush off my phone.
Oh my God!
They were getting me the money. I was starting to put real money dollars into Candy Crush. I was like, this is supposed to be free to play. And Mahjong, I love Solitaire. I love.
Listen, Solitaire. I was like, these free to play games. I am like so anti spending money on a mobile game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've got multiple times.
Yes, because it
got.
starts with just $1 or 99 cents.
And then you $100 later, you're like, what? And then a part of me was like, dang, if I would have just dropped 100 in the beginning, I'd be farther along because I would have had all the things,
all the gems I needed or whatever.
Right? Yeah. Nah, I'm so, and yes, Phase 10 and Uno are ruining friendships. And have been ruining friendships, but I also I think every friendship should be tested with a little trial and fire. And if you can't play a good game of Phase 10 or a sequence with me, then are we really friends?
Yeah, right. If we can't flip this table over a draw 10, then what are we even doing? Yes, 99 cents is the equivalent of first taste is free. Yep.
I do have to ask, since we are speaking of free-to-play games, and you work for Niantic, I gotta ask the Pokemon Go questions. Did you play Pokemon Go while you was working for Niantic at all?
At home? No, I mean, I didn't have a Pokestop at my house. Like I had to walk just like everybody.
Okay.
But yes, I played. I mean, you can. The beauty of, so this is the thing that's crazy. I lived in Jack London Square, and so if anybody knows anything, there was a gym at the ferry where the ferry would pick up, and I know the CEO and I both took the ferry. So there's a gym there. There's a gym in the ferry building. And so there was a gym at the ferry building because we used to test and, do different things like that. But I love the game. The cool thing was that when we did do partnerships, we were able to partner with folks and like let's say if I was still there and we partnered with MomoCon, we could have put a gym at MomoCon or some stops. Like if there's like a 5K or something, we could put some stops, around the different things of that nature, which was fun. I enjoyed doing that, like with our partners. But I played. I got some pretty cool
stuff.
Pokemon, and but when I left, I deleted that. I still have a profile and everything, but like I think one thing that we were talking about this earlier that I really enjoyed about business resource groups was that building those internally at Niantic, we were able to get into the nitty gritty of what some of our players really wanted and cared about. We couldn't ignore. I spent $300 on Pokemon and Listen, I think we've all spent some kind of money on a mobile app. I mean, Monopoly Go got me as well. Like there's just a couple of things that I'm like now in this space of, if I'm gonna play a game, I want one of those games that is the cash games that gives me money back. Like I'm like, let me find them all.
Like less of a scam. Yeah.
But then they get you too, because if your money get low and you know you gotta just sign in every day, like it's whatever. But I loved how, as business resource groups and as a community, we were able to take on some of the things that our community said. Like you wouldn't have had skin tones if Daphne LaRose wasn't a Black engineer,
right?
You know, and then, so yeah, go ahead.
It's interesting to me how that is so. It's it's so like, I don't know, revolutionary isn't the word I'm looking for, but just so many people of color appreciate that there is not just brown, but brown with a peach undertone, brown with a yellow undertone.
Yeah, different shades of brown.
Right. Matter of fact, Diablo even has a vitiligo skin pattern if you want it. And y'all remember when the Hogwarts game came out and you could really build a Black character in that game, and next thing you know, we all over the internet and TikTok and everything, showing out about how we're playing the Hogwarts game. And even though statistically speaking, we might be a small percentage of the players overall internationally or whatever, as usual, we got the flavor. Like, even in this country, Black Americans only make up what, maybe 12 to 15%, but everything seems to come, all the cool stuff comes out of here. So it would behoove anybody, if they really want to be cool, to listen to us and what we're doing. And the BRGs were on the leading edge of that. Like you said, it seems it's not being woke, it's being inclusive, which everybody says they want. Just because there's a brown skin tone in the game doesn't mean you have to play it. But if I want to play it, I like to have that option.
Thank you for saying that.
We can take it all the way back to, because I'm an old school video gamer. Eddie Gordo was the only character I would play in Tekken. He was a capoeira master because he was Black. Everybody was Eddie Gordo. And then when his cousin or whatever came out with them thick thighs, I was like, oh, I'll be her, And before that, it was Chun-Li, as close as I could get. But everybody wants to see somebody that looks like them. And to ignore that is at your own peril.
I'm going to add a little bit more to what you just said. So I don't know if y'all played this game or remember it, but Pokemon Legends AZ came out, I want to say, earlier this year or last year. And one thing that they did, Pokemon's always been, you've always for the past generations been able to change your skin tone, change your gender versus just playing as a default character mode. This time they changed the skin tones of like iconic characters within the game, like Nurse Joy. Every Pokemon game, you will go to the Pokemon Center, you'll see the stereotypical Nurse Joy sprite. This time around, there's an Asian Nurse Joy, there's Latino Nurse Joy, there's a Black Nurse Joy in Pokemon Legends ZA. And I was like, I love this. I'm only going to the Black Pokemon Center or the Hispanic Pokemon Center in these areas in this city. And it just is some small little detail that just added so much more enjoyment to my game, just because like they've never done that. And then of course the internet comes out like, why is this Nurse Joy Black? She doesn't look right. And I'm like, oh, dude, just shut up. Like the internet always shows.
The internet hates everything.
Yeah, the internet hates everything.
Internet gangsters. We all we all experience them.
For sure. What's next for you? Because we only have like maybe 10, 15 minutes left. And I've been doing this way too much. I know, right? I've been sitting here just in rapt attention, like, like I'm doing the, every time you say something. But I would like to know what is next for you? What's coming up for you for the rest of this year, going into next year? What's next for Blacks Gaming? Is it Hermida LLC?
Hermida Company, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start with Black and Gaming first. We were just at, and I say we because we a community. Yeah. We were just at MomoCon. Y'all were there. We did a meetup there and met some new people. And I'm glad that I was able to meet y'all today. And hopefully we can continue chatting about, what the future looks like. We were just at DreamCon in the Indie Game Center. We brought, in partnership with ID at Xbox, we brought over 6 independent game developers
Nice.
from the communities that both communities. We are talking about future meetups, like we were at Summer Games Fest. We did a partnership with BAFTA where we had a panel at their office, and they got to recruit and meet some folks, and so we're always doing something. We have a lot of meetups in LA because we have a chapter there. We have folks talking about wanting to create a chapter in Atlanta. We have folks over here in the DMV. I'm in Maryland. And yeah, so Cali kind of split up, and so with next year being our 10-year anniversary for the big awards, we are starting to hit the ground this year to really prepare and invite people. And we're going to make it a fundraiser because right now it's been so hard to raise a dollar, for anything blackety black. So, so we're going to make it a fundraiser, a gala, which should be fun. We're going to have a party. We're going to
be like a costume ball type thing, or
okay. Yeah, I think it's because when people go to GDC, it's funny. You'll have someone like in full dress, like a 3-piece suit, and then you'll have someone in like t-shirts and some slides. You know what I mean? Like it's just very. So this year, again, we're not going to turn anybody away at the door, but we're telling people to show up and show out. And so, really excited about that. We'll have also Big Fest again at GDC, and Aria is on the board with me, along with Justin. Justin must be thinking or talking about me. No, I'm joking. Along with Timothy, Jonathan, and Damon, and Davina, and Dennis, and we've been talking about what is our wow going to be for next year, because we always do something different. We always level up every year. So Big Fest is normally every year free. So you just sign up and you can give a donation if you want, but it has networking. It has I'm not going to say what we're thinking about. We have indie devs. We had last year headshots. We had micro talks. We had coffee and tea and all the good stuff. Like it was just a blast, and it was right across the street from the Moscone Center. And so we do tend to like do speaking engagements, like where we bring folks from the community to get together to speak on topics that they're SMEs on. I will be at Anime NYC, which is something that I just I didn't know if I was going to go anywhere this year, but the fact that I'm going to PT tomorrow and I'm believing that I'm on the up and up, I can put a weight on my boot. I'll be there. And then we were going to be in Germany for Gamescom, but that will be pushed to next year. And we will be at DICE. And so there's some things brewing. We are looking to do more educational things. And so I can't announce it yet, but there is something that we're building for the community and it aligns with getting folks developed in areas that we desire, the community's been asking for. So I'm excited about those things.
Awesome. So we're about to end the show. I do want to ask you this. It's a two-parter, but I want to ask you this last question. First, how can we get more Black people, especially Black women, in gaming, not just playing games, but within the gaming industry? And second, what does the future of gaming look like to you?
So I would say, I don't think my answer is going to be one that's very like people are gonna love, to be honest. To get more Black folk in gaming, more Black women in gaming, I believe we have to create our own lane and
Yeah.
create our own thing and create our own games. And so that's
Yeah.
something that I've been like praying. I'm like, Lord, just give me a game. I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
give me the ideas and I'll do it. I believe that also we have to work together, more co-op. You know, again, traditional route, like it wasn't until like maybe I'm probably off with the years, but 5 to 10 years that we've been seeing gaming in schools, like as actual like degrees, right?
Learning.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I do think that if you are interested in being a developer, you know, you can go to a boot camp, you can learn on your own, um, and just start to create. Go to game jams, you know, try it
Mhm.
out and see uh, if you're really interested in this. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
you're really,
If
if
the
it's
passion
something
is
for
there.
it.
Yeah.
Right. And then I also want to say that there's over 101 jobs in gaming. So just like any other tech company, we have the administrative side, we have the art side, we have the
Yep.
tech side. And so I wouldn't underestimate like opportunity. There's still opportunity within the game industry, and you can come in um, through your wherever you're a subject matter expert, just
Mhm.
finding the alignment. And I think that a lot of people just didn't really know that the game industry was here and open for folks. I
But
do
they're
think
not
that.
necessarily coders. Yeah.
Right. And I do think that there is some bias in the industry where, because right now the block is hot and there's so many layoffs and so many folks are struggling. Um, it's kind of like any major industry that has like taken a deep dive. For any role, you're having super experienced folks applying, so it's like even the the more entry level or more junior level roles are being filled by people who have years and years of experience because of how scarce opportunities are. So this
Mhm.
is why my first response was, let's build our own lane. Let's do our own thing. And honestly, with the insurgence of AI and all these other different things, there a lot of studios are creating micro games, or like I don't know if they're micro games or what the word they would use, where they're testing small, like they're not spending 10 to 5, 5 to 10 years to build something. They're doing it quickly and they're testing it faster to see if there's
Beta
Audience
testing.
a
for it.
desire for it.
Mhm.
And because of that, my hope is that if they're doing that, they don't ignore folks, who can build it up after that, right?
Mhm.
Sustain it.
Mhm.
I don't, and because I'm not really a big fan of how AI is just taking folks' jobs
Mm.
and
And
all
doing it terribly. Yeah.
right. And
Hmm.
so, what was the second question you said?
What does the future of gaming look like to you?
I think the future is us. The future is now. We have an opportunity right now to create the future that we desire to see.
Mhm.
Um, I do think that there's a lot of folks who, because they were able to fail, they were able to create things that we see that are going on for 20 years now, you know. So I just think that in this season that we're in as a world, and in the United States specifically, like,
Mhm.
we are creatives. And this is, you know what? Thank you, Holy Spirit. We're creatives. So if you have an idea, don't just sit on it and wait for the big grandiose. Like, if you're a creative,
Mhm.
you're going to create regardless. You could create multiple things. And I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes we get this super dope idea and we sit with it for so long until it passes us. And I want to remind everybody that not every thought is just a thought. So
Mm.
if you're thinking of something that could be a solution, or if you're thinking of something that could transform the industry or create something,
Mhm.
write it down, make it plain, and believe that you can find the people, the places, and the things that are necessary to see that come to fruition. But no thought is just a thought. Physical game, cartridges, discs, or digital games.
That was something we were going to talk about, as far as like with what Sony's doing and how they're ending the production of physical games coming 2028. I heard some other companies are following suit, and just the loss of physical media, and not only in gaming, but just physical media, period. Um, but we might have to just add that to another show. If you like, I'd love to have you come back on and just talk more. Like, you are very fascinating, and obviously, like, we had so much that we talked about. We can get into so much more. But where can people find you on the internet if they would like to follow you and continue the conversation with you?
My handle is at This Is Trini, like everywhere. My name is Trinidad Hermida Black. But if you just do at This Is Trini, TRINI, or if you want to go to my link tree, it's linktree.com/This Is Trini. Period. I'm on TikTok and all those things. But yeah, if you're gonna come to me in TikTok streets, you're gonna see a different side of me. And I'm the host, so you have to take it or leave it, you know. But yeah, it's been an honor to be here today, and I'm really excited about this time. I'm been really encouraging folks to dig deep into who they are and what they desire to do. And just like I had to make a decision to yes, just like I had to make a decision when I hated everything around me, right? My job and everything. I had to say, what do I want to do? And I had to put 10 toes down and just stick it out. And so in this season, my hope and my prayer is that whatever you're called to do, whatever your purpose, like that you don't sacrifice that. And it's easy to say when, you know, your bills are paid and all those other things. But I'm here to tell you, like, I've struggled, you know, with no job, or when the industry decided to shift, I had to pivot. I had to pivot my whole career that I spent my whole life building, you know, but I also had the ability to trust God and know that I'm no longer going to be a control freak and a people pleaser. I'm going to surrender to your will, God, and I'm going to trust that my steps are ordered and that you can do exceedingly and above what I can even imagine. So this is where I'm at, and this is what I want to encourage everybody to trust.
I think that's a great benediction, great way to end the show. And this has been probably one of the better, if not one of the best interviews that we've done. And it's just been so fascinating, like Mark said, to just listen to you. I'm just sitting here like, yeah. I would love to have you come back on, especially when we want to talk about like the future of gaming, like where gaming is going, not just as a whole, but like specifically like what Black people can do, or what people of color, want to add everybody in, can do when it comes to creating that lane. You know, we've seen some prototypes over the last from the movie industry over the last year, even though they were backed by major companies like Warner Brothers and Netflix, but Sinners did numbers. K-pop Demon Hunters did numbers, right? What's the Heated Rivalry is doing numbers. And so to say that they have no place in media or in entertainment is ridiculous. And it proves that even if you don't have a white male-centered main character or protagonist, that something can still be a blockbuster and knockout seller.
Period.
So you know, all the people that are mad because the next God of War is a girl, just get over it. You know.
Oh my God, the internet will burn on live if like that happens. Oh my God.
The next God of War is a girl.
Yeah.
It's already announced.
Oh, it is. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Ooh, okay. I need to catch up then.
Yeah. But my point being, we can make those spaces if, to your point, if we're just brave enough to step out there. And somebody else mentioned, like, when the industry is already down, we got nothing to lose. So go ahead and run on out there. But
Yeah.
I know we're a little bit past time, so thank you for all of your time this evening. It has been a real pleasure, a real joy talking to you this whole night. I'm about to follow you on all the places I can find you. And are you on LinkedIn as well?
I am. It's my Trinidad Hermida Black. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look for you on LinkedIn too, because I'm sure you know the few Black people in gaming that I know that are old heads, like Donald Harris, Corey Roseman. Like, those are my folks. They're around there somewhere. So, if you don't,
I just saw Donald at GDC and at DICE. Yeah.
Nice.
And he's hecka tall in person.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if he's the tallest guy in the room.
Yeah. I was like, oh. And then, I am that person who, that's good. I am that person who, if I do see a Black person at a gaming function, I have to go up to them and be like, hi, who are you? Can you tell me, how did you get here? Who are you? Do I know you? Do you know my friends? Like, because we make up,
we're a small community,
1% of the leadership within gaming. And so maybe 2. So that's, it's near and dear to my heart. And here, where I'm at Black in Gaming, we're just getting started. I became the chair, and I know we're done, but I became the chair last year in September.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was the year or 2 before, I was the ED, and before that I was just a volunteer. But when I became the chair, essentially I was given the whole organization with no board. Like, it was there was board members, but most of them were like on the way out. Like, it was just a whole, so we're in the season of building a new foundation.
Yeah.
And so this is exciting for me, because I believe we're just on the up and up from here.
That's awesome. I know it's going to be great, because you're doing it. So of course it's going to be wonderful.
Let me ask you this before we go. Where can people find more information about the Big Foundation, Black in Gaming, and if they wanted to donate to the Big Foundation, where can they do that?
So our website is thebigfoundation.org. And if you also just put blackingaming.com, it'll pop up, or blackingaming.org. And so there's a donate button on there. And if you are interested in having conversations about partnerships and different things of that nature, like you want to have something more involved, just email us at info@blackingaming.org. And we got you. But also Instagram, Black in Gaming. What's the other one? Blue Sky, Black in Gaming. Twitter, Black in Gaming. LinkedIn, Black in Gaming. Like, you could, it's the same.
Yeah. Love the way that y'all consolidated those trademarks. Yeah.
We're not on TikTok though, because I need volunteers to do the social media.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So not yet.
Well, I personally know a bunch of people who might be able to help out, but if they're watching this episode or if they're watching this live stream, I suggest any of you fellow creatives of my audience, please check out Black in Gaming, the Big Foundation. Like you said, you're building a new foundation for Black in Gaming. So any help that the audience can give, please go for it and do that. But thank you so much for coming on the show, Trinidad Black. This has been such a wonderful interview. I cannot wait to have you back on. You're already giving me ideas. Black women in gaming spaces probably coming soon. So please stay tuned for that. But coming up in the month of August, we have our members appreciation month. So please please subscribe to the channel so you can be a part of all the membership stuff that we're doing next month. It's free to the public, but the month of August is always Members Appreciation Month. I definitely have some special surprises coming up for you in the month of August. And obviously, we're gearing up for DragonCon 2026. That'll be the beginning of September. We have a special show August 31st coming up, Black Geeks of DragonCon. Do that annually. And yeah, this is it's going to be a fun month. But until then, everybody, I'll see you when I see you. Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Love it how you move it, how you wind it up. We can jump into it, we can line it up. We can stay slow, what you mean? We can stay slow, what you mean? Yeah. Be somebody tonight, doing that dance, digging that dance. I know you can be somebody tonight, be somebody tonight. Pull up on me. We got so much to see. Maybe I can show you around. Lay your top with the top down.